on another level, a level you can't pass. I'm on some other shit, who knows how long it'll last. My heart is beating out, this shit just creeps so fast. I'm on another level, a level you can't pass.
I'm on another level, I'm on another level, I'm on another level. I'm on another level, I'm on another level, I'm on another level.
Alright, welcome back to the second episode of the Bird Dog Football Recap Show with your host, Io Torrent, defensive end for the Dallas Bird Dogs. This time around, we're going to be looking at weeks 5 through 7 when the Dallas Bird Dogs took on the Tijuana Luchadors, the London Royals, and the Minnesota Grey Ducks. Well, real quick, let's take a quick look at the South standings as the Dallas Bird Dogs stand first place with an overall record of 4-3, and the Tijuana Luchadors one game back of them at 3-4, the Norfolk Seawolves 2-5, and the Bondi Beach Buccaneers at 0-7. Over in the Northern Division, we have the Minnesota Grey Ducks, who are dominating the league at 6-1 loss. London Royals 5-2, Kansas City Coyotes 5-2, and the Portland Pythons in the rear there at 3-4. All right, to kick off some news for the Dallas Bird Dogs, we have a couple of new signings to the squad. First off, we have wide receiver Defo Not Leroy, who comes in and who has played in 3 games, started 1 game, currently has 145 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. Moving on, another recent signing for the Dallas Bird Dogs, they have picked up linebacker Hex Aqua K. Kian, who started in 7 games, has 41 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and is showing to be an inaugural part of this Dallas defense. And last but not least, Dallas has recently picked up safety Richard Mancher, whom has played in 6 games. 6 games started, has 19 tackles, has forced 1 fumble and recovered 1 fumble, and currently has 1 sack. So these 3 players are recent adds to the Dallas team that is looking pretty strong so far in the first half of the season. Let's hope that continues moving forward. Before we move on, let's take a quick look at some of the team stats after the first half of the season. We take a look over at the passing yards. The Dallas Bird Dogs are finding themselves middle of the pack there at 1,578 yards passing under rookie quarterback Stanzi, but they have the tied for top of the league with 14 total touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. If we move on over to the rushing side, the Dallas Bird Dogs are really making their money right there at the rushing game. Currently third in the league with 1,068 yards and are bottom 3 though with only 7 touchdowns. But as we've seen, they're getting in the red zone and passing that ball in. But the running game is definitely getting the majority of that work in. Over on the receiving side, the Dallas Bird Dogs are finding themselves middle of the pack again. At about 6th place with 1,578 yards receiving with those 14 passing touchdowns. Over on the defensive side, the Dallas Bird Dog defense is 3rd in the league with 348 tackles, but top of the league with 29 tackles for loss and are currently 4th in the league with 12 sacks. But where they are getting some pressure on the quarterback, they only have 1 interception, which is good for last currently in the league. All right, jumping into week 5 of DSFL football, we have the Dallas Bird Dogs 2-2 taking on the 2-2 Tijuana Luchadors in interdivisional play, with the Luchadors getting off to the quick start with a 3-point lead. But in the second quarter, the Dallas Bird Dogs would come alive and score all 14 of their total points for the game, with the Luchadors getting 7 points. And in the third, the Luchadors get 3, but it would not be enough, with neither team scoring in the fourth quarter, with a final score of 14-13, Dallas over the Luchadors. The offensive player of the game was Jason Waterfalls, rookie receiver from Tijuana, who had 8 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdowns. And the defensive player of the game was the Dallas defensive end LeBron Brady Jr., who had 5 tackles, 4 and 1 sack. Some other notable stats: we have the passing game of the Dallas Bird Dogs rookie Stanzi, who threw for 221 yards and a touchdown, while the quarterback for the Tijuana Luchadors, Really Invisible, had 282 yards and a touch. Over in the running game, the Dallas Bird Dogs split the load with Eric Gear going 56 yards on 18 carries, 0 touchdowns, and Nardello getting only 11 yards on 11 carries, 0 touchdowns. The receiving side of the Dallas Bird Dogs mostly came from 2 catches from Tostovich for 89 yards with a 76-yard long play, and rookie Cliff Burton with 4 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown. All right, now we're moving on to Week 6 as we had the London Royals coming into town to take on the Dallas Bird Dogs, now 3-2, with London coming in pretty hot, having been the defending champions. Moving into the game, in the first quarter, we had a 29-yard pass from Ricky Stanzi to Cliff Burton for Dallas to get on the board first. Second quarter, Eric Gear runs a 1-yard run in for a touchdown with an early 14-0 lead. London would then follow up with a Kiera Tona 10-yard run that would make it 7-14 in the third quarter, and then followed up in the third quarter again with another Kiera Tona 14-yard pass from quarterback Dustin Parmalee, rookie, to tie it up 14-14. In the end of the third quarter, Dallas would get an 18-yard field goal from kicker J.J. Jamison Jr., rookie, to go ahead at the end of the half, 14-17. Moving into the third quarter, wasn't a whole lot of action with the single touchdown by Eric Gear for the Dallas with 3:09 to play to put Dallas up 24-14. In the fourth quarter, London would try to make a little bit of comeback early with a 26-yard field goal from kicker Rainbow Dash to make it 17-14, but Ivan Tostovich with a bomb 62-yard pass from Ricky Stanzi to go up 17-31 would be the nail in the coffin for this game. But we should add that directly after that, Bradley Welch, rookie, had a 98-yard kickoff return, but it just wouldn't be enough with Dallas going out on top 31-24. Some notable performances. Again, receiver Ivan Tostovich for the Dallas Bird Dogs, who had 4 receptions, 83 yards, and a touchdown with that big 62-yard bomb to really separate himself. Ricky Stanzi went 164 yards, 2 touchdowns thrown though, and the running game, Eric Gear, 26 attempts, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, with Nardello having 79 yards on his own on 17 carries. This moves the Dallas Bird Dogs to up in the division, up to 4-2 in the division. To wrap up this week's recap, we go into Week 7 with the 4-2 Dallas Bird Dogs taking on the 5-1 top of the league Minnesota Gray Ducks. This game was a absolute slugfest with the Dallas coming out quickly with a 1-yard run from running back Jimmy Norello, but Minnesota would come back as Ricky Stanzi would get tackled for a safety to make it 7-2, and then Minnesota would then get a 68-yard pass from quarterback Casimir Oils Jr. to rookie Mason Malone to go up 9-7. They would then get the lone points in the second quarter, a 24-yard field goal by Levy Tate to go up 12-7. In the third quarter, it would be mostly Dallas with Defoe, not Leroy, rookie 46-yard pass from Ricky Stanzi, but they would not get the 2-point conversion to make it 12-15. With another point, Joey Marston, 1-yard pass from Ricky Stanzi to get to 12-22. Feeling pretty good. Minnesota would then start making the comeback late in the third quarter. Mason Malone, 17-yard pass from Casimir Lee to make it 19-22. And then fourth quarter, all Minnesota. Vincent Sharpie Jr., 9-yard pass from Casimir Oils. And then a 74-yard Jacob Ransky interception return for a touchdown for Minnesota. That would be the final points of the game, 33-22, to put Minnesota 6-1 and the Dallas Bird Dogs to 4-3 on the year. Some notable performances. Ricky Stanzi had 355 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Not much from the running game, as Nardello had 45 yards on 13 carries and 1 touchdown. Over in the Minnesota category, the quarterback Oils Jr. had 262 yards, but 3 touchdowns, while the running game was on 33 attempts by Huntsman for 119 yards. The offensive player of their game, Ricky Stanzi, quarterback for the Dallas Bird Dogs, with those 355 yards. And then the defensive player of the game would go to full safety, Jacob Ransey, for that interception for a touchdown that would slam the door shut. Well, that'll do it for this week, as we just wrapped up week 7 in the DSFL season with the Dallas Bird Dogs finishing out 4-3. They still have a little ways to go. They have in week 8 a rematch at Minnesota of that week 7 Slobberknocker. Week 9 they have Bondi Beach Buccaneers. Week 10 Portland Pythons, before they move forward to the full week 14 season, and they're currently in first place. So that'll do it for the Dallas Recap Show, episode 2, weeks 5 through 7. This has been Io Torrent. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. And as always, let's go Dallas. Keep them Bird Dogs coming. Let's go hunt.